What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Tides, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I want to talk about SPS and how much SPS we can expect going into the DAO from this mini set that is upcoming for Conclave Arcana. Now, I've been kind of rolling around with this number of about 100 million in my head, and I heard Clay even say that recently. I think it's just like a nice, easy, round number that's also roughly half of what we're expecting if the entire, set were to sell out. Again, I don't know if the entire set will sell out. I think half or, assuming half can get there would be a decent guess. But I actually want to offer an alternative theory or prediction or whatever you want to call it. And before I even go any further with this, none of this is financial advice. I am not telling you that I have no idea what's going to happen with the price. I have no idea what's going to happen with anything. But my prediction is going to assume certain things about the price of SPS possibly going up and going up significantly. So therefore, I just want to make sure that I put this out first and foremost. So, my prediction actually isn't on where the price of SPS is going, because I don't know how, when, or why it'll go wherever it'll go. But I'm actually thinking that 100 million is kind of just, again, arbitrary, pulled out of thin air. And I am having doubts now. I am having doubts that we will see like even a significant amount, even like a small significant amount of SPS go into the DAO. I actually think this is going to basically let me give you the broader outline. Now, I'm a big believer in October, in Q4 of the year of the bull run, or whatever you want to call it, right? I do think that there's a lot of room still left for Bitcoin to go. And this is why I was saying, not financial advice. But just with, seeing ETH back up, in the 46, 4,700 range, there's a lot of, obviously a lot of momentum still for Bitcoin. There's a lot of hope, or hopium, maybe we should call it, heading into Q4 of this year. I don't think that the bull run is quite finished just yet, although I don't know if it's going to be something extended or a super cycle, or maybe it is done. Who knows? My point is this: if we start to see significant movement in the broader markets, I think that will filter down. But that's actually still just a backdrop. I think that's going to be something that gets people excited. Overall, what I do think is going to happen is once we get more details on when the set will launch and some teasers and things like that, we are going to see the price of SPS rise just because of the hype. We saw this when, what's that called? We saw this when Conclave Arcana came out. We saw it when Rebellion came out. So again, I'm not predicting it. I'm just saying past performance is kind of, the best indication that we have what to predict or what to expect in the future. Now, the only difference this time is that you can buy in SPS, but previously, many people were essentially doing the same thing. They were buying SPS with the hopes of burning it at a higher price for DEC to then go in and buy, right? So they felt like they were buying at a discount. And for many people, they were. Like if you were to buy, let's say you had bought SPS at like 0.4 or whatever it was, and then you rode it up like a 3x, you were essentially getting stuff for like 66% off, right? If you were able to burn it at the 1.4, 1.3 cent range that we topped out at. So what's my point in all this? This is essentially the same thing that's going to happen. And because the team has set an arbitrary number of roughly 1.4 cents per SPS being kind of like that soft peg, it's going to be very easy to see what is happening and what's going to happen based on that price tag. Now, here's the thing. As I was saying earlier in a previous video where I was talking about like the interplay between SPS and DEC, what's going to happen is that the price of SPS going up is also going to carry the price of DEC up. And the reason I say that is because let's say SPS pumps to a certain number that is above, right, the percent discount that you're getting on DEC. All of a sudden, people are going to start selling off SPS and buying DEC, pushing the price of DEC up, right? And vice versa, and we keep going back and forth. But even still, if not, the moment we get close to 1.4 cents, and we don't even have to be that close to 1.4 cents. My whole point with this is that people on the way up will either sell SPS for DEC and then buy with that, or they will burn SPS for DEC if we cross any significant threshold, namely like the 1.4 cents. So all in all, we may not see a lot of SPS go into the DAO because of this. And I'm actually okay with that. I mean, I'm okay with it in the sense, especially because we're having the conversation now about the exponential decay, right? What's that called? All the different reward pools. So we're having that conversation now, because like again, the hope is that we do lock up a lot of SPS, but simultaneously, the hope is that SPS also shoots to the moon, right? So, like, if SPS shoots to the moon, it makes absolutely no sense for anybody to be buying an SPS. They're just going to burn that SPS for DEC and then go and buy with DEC or USDC or whatever the case is, right? So in that way, like, there's like two competing things here that are somewhat juxtaposed. Like, we want both of these things to happen, but I'll be honest, I want one thing to happen more than the other. I want SPS to go to the moon. Screw, this mini set. This mini set, people can go and buy it for DEC. But again, the unintended consequences of that is that you will then have a situation where the DAO just gets filled up with DEC. Now, keep in mind, we should be able to recoup our costs, I think, at the very least, and hopefully get, double or get some kind of return on investment for this. And here's the thing, right? One of the things that you can't measure, or that we won't be measuring with the DAO, is the impact that this proposal is going to have on the game economy, namely the value of the SPS token. So what do I mean by that? Okay, so the DAO pays 1.2 billion DEC, right? And let's say the DAO gets back only 1.2 billion DEC, but in the process, SPS flies. You get what I'm saying? So like maybe the mini set doesn't sell that well, but you get SPS just, going up because of this interplay, because of the demand, whatever. And people, maybe we lock up a little SPS in the DAO. Maybe we don't. Maybe everybody just ends up burning that SPS for DEC. But either way, that shooting up of SPS is great for marketing. It's great for rewards. It's great for the narrative that we have, right? It's just great for, just everybody overall in the game. And we cannot quantify that, because at the end of the day, if somebody looks at just the numbers of the DAO, it's like, oh, well, the DAO paid 1.2 billion and got back 1.2 billion. But we're not really quantifying the overall impact that it had on the rest of the game economy. So I know I'm kind of like all over the place here, but my prediction moving forward is that because I think there is a solid macro backdrop, I think there's a solid kind of Bitcoin, and crypto backdrop as well. And then just going into whatever this interplay is going to be, and 1.4 cents being that soft peg, which I don't think is difficult to reach, all things considered. I don't think we're going to lock up that much SPS. That's just where I stand. There's a lot that can happen between now and December, and maybe even now and November if they do like a pre-sale that pulls in the month ahead. But that's just where my head is at right now. Feeling a little bullish. Again, no, not financial advice, and I have no idea what the prices of things will actually be. But just looking at past releases, past major card set releases. I know this is a mini set, but I don't. It's hard for me not to. It's hard for me not to look at those past things and be like, yeah, that probably happens again in the future, or at least some version of it. And when that some version of it happens, people aren't buying with SPS, right? They're buying with DEC. They're burning that SPS, especially those who bought at, the 0.007 range that are already up now, right? So again, it will be interesting to see. That is all I have for you guys in this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.